My name is Jayani.
Hi, I'm Shehanka Kulatunga.
I am a food writer, blogger, and the author of pekishme.com.
I'm a mother of two, and I'm the owner and founder of Holy Belly Restaurant.
Cooking for me is therapy.
Cooking is actually a stress relief for me.
It's an absolute art form.
My love for food have made me open up the restaurant.
That brings together different flavors, different textures.
My favorite cuisine is Sri Lankan, and I love cooking Sri Lankan food.
Different nuances that enhance the quality of life in general.
The spices and the aromas and all, I just love it.
I would like to introduce myself as a creator in general. I write horror stories in my spare time and indulge in poetry, and I love cooking. So the reason why I got into food blogging is because of that same reason, because cooking for myself was the only way that I could indulge in the food that I loved and that I experienced around the world. So what I will be doing during these episodes is take you around the world in a journey of food. I will be concentrating in Italian food and fusion of Sri Lankan spices and the flavors that make your mouth water. I hope you are as excited as me about this. Welcome to my home. Today, I'm going to be preparing one of my favorite meats of all times, pork, Sri Lankan style. I'm going to do a bit of a confession here and say that pork is actually my absolute favorite protein. And I don't understand why it's not so popular, because I've heard it, I don't know how verified this is, but I've heard that pork, when you cut off the oily parts, it's actually very much healthier even than chicken breast. So what I'm going to do today is marry some of my favorite ingredients and some of my favorite flavors together and bring you this amazing, mind-blowing pork dish that I go to at every single juncture of my pork-loving existence. Let's begin. When it comes to proteins, it's absolutely necessary that you marinate the proteins, because the flavor really needs to seep into the flesh in order for the actual flavor of the proteins to come out. So what I'm going to right now do is marinate the pork in my own special blend of condiments so that it will retain its original flavor and the natural flavor of the pork will be brought out. For that, I need a bit of soy sauce. I have around half a cup of soy sauce here. And just like pour it all in. Soy sauce and sugar are natural companions. They are very best of friends. So I am going to make use of that combination, that friendship over here as well, to bring in that beautiful flavor of the sour and the sweet. The umami of the soy sauce works very well with the sweetness of the brown sugar. And into this, I'm also going to add a bit of chili powder. It's a mix of chili powder and chili flakes that I'm using here, and the trusty salt. You don't need to add a lot of salt here because the soy sauce has a bit of salt in it already. So be very, very careful when you're adding the salt. And pepper. Pepper brings out the bite in this dish. You already have the chili flakes and the chili powder here, but a bit of pepper goes a long way. So I'm going to just go very liberal with pork here. What you now need to do is mix it all in. For that, I'm going to use this. So this mixture has been beautifully mixed in. I think the soy sauce and the sugar and the spices that I've added to it has all been mixed beautifully. So what we need to do is leave this for about 3 hours to marinate and let the flavors do its magic. I'm going to leave this in the fridge so that we don't want to take any chances with the proteins that we are using. Since we are living in a tropical country, this is extremely important to keep the right temperature for proteins. So while the pork is marinating, I'm going to cut my onions and my capsicum. So I have 5 onions here, If you can use about 8, that's also okay, because the more onions, the more flavor. So I'm going to just roughly chop it. I'm not going to bother about the size of the onions. I'm just going to slice it in a way that it's small and it's still able to impart its flavor to the pork that we are doing. Onions always make me cry, so I'm not going to try and cry here. After the 4th onion, it just gets unbearable, but you know, I'm going to do this. I'm going to beat the onions today. So we are done with the onions here. Let's move on to the pork now. So I'll put the pan on high heat. It needs to heat up a little bit before I throw in the pork in there. So the pork has been marinating for about 3 hours now, and I think it has done its magic with the flavors. What I'm going to now do is just throw in all this pork in here. So this needs to stay on the heat for about 5 to 10 minutes, and it needs to heat up a little bit before you throw any of these ingredients in. You will know when it's ready. It will start spluttering, it will start hissing. It's already starting to give up a little bit of smoke. So when that happens, I will add the rest of the ingredients in. So the pork is ready. It's already bubbling, and you can actually hear the hissing if you look closely. So now I go in with my spices. I have cinnamon here, I have cardamom here, I have a bit of clove in here. So if I speak a little bit about the Ceylon cinnamon, did you know that this Sri Lanka is the only country that produces high quality cinnamon like we have? And it's such a pity that we have such a lot of treasures at our doorstep and we are not making significant use out of it. So I'm going to just throw in these right into the pork. The cardamom and the clove needs to be pounded a little bit. Just throw that in. So just slowly pound it. So I'm not going to grind it into a powder. I just need the flavors to seep out. That is all I want. That is what I did with my trusty mortar and pestle. So I'm just going to throw this in as well into the pork. Mix it all in. The moment you throw it, you get the aroma of the spices just already wafting through. It's actually very beautiful. So once that is done, I'm going to go in with my ginger. I've ground it to a smooth paste. I want 1 teaspoon of that. And my garlic, I've ground that as well very roughly. And I am going to go in with 2 teaspoons of that. Garlic is known for its therapeutic properties in curbing all kinds of illnesses, and garlic here will help you cut through all that fat that is famously present in the pork. Once everything has been mixed in properly, we are going to add in the onions that we chopped earlier. We are using 1 kilo of pork here, so I'm assuming that 5 medium-sized onions would do the trick. Mix that all in. Lower the heat just a little bit, and what you now need to do is just cover this with its lid and let the pork do its magic with all the other ingredients that I've added in here. And now we wait. The pork has been simmering on low heat for about 45 minutes right now, because it needs that time for all the flavors to come together. And we just need one final step for this dish to be finished and reach its perfection. So what I'm going to now do is chop up this beautiful capsicums. Just slice the thing in half. And if you can, just get rid of the seeds, because the seeds are spicy part. Just slice it up. You don't need to be very neat with it. Go as your knife guides you. So now in goes all this beautifully fresh capsicum into our pork, which is almost done. This is the final touch, which would add a simple touch of green into this otherwise beautifully caramelized brown curry that we are making. So just let it sit there for about 3 minutes. That should do it, because you need the capsicum to have that bite, that freshness, and that adds in a whole lot of flavor into this dish. So with the capsicum thrown in, everything has come together beautifully and it's ready to be plated up right now. So I have this beautiful polka dotted bowl for this. There's quite a bit of oily bits in this pork, and I absolutely love the oily bits in a pork any day. I mean, what is pork without the oily bits? So there you have it, my beautiful Sri Lankan pork stir fry. You can serve this up with rice, bread, flatbread, anything that you like actually. So I can't wait to dig in. So now for the ultimate taste test, I'm going to go right into a bit of fat there. It's just amazing. I can taste the cardamom and the clove as well. And throughout that umami of the soy sauce, you get the sweetness of the sugar. And the sugar has helped in caramelizing the pork bits beautifully. And throughout all of that, you get the cinnamon, the beautiful sensual warmth of the cinnamon coming through. And I can actually just dig into this right here. I don't need any rice or any flatbread actually. I'll just dig in. So there you have it, my beautiful Sri Lankan pork stir fry. Until next time, this is Jayani Senanayake signing off.
Hi, welcome to another episode of Homemade. I'm Shehanka Kulatunga. When I was a kid, I was the only child, so whenever I come after school, my mom and father both used to go to work, so I was alone and I was always with my maid, and I always love helping her around when she's cooking. My love for food have made me open up a restaurant, and if you come check us out, you will find out that I have collaborated many cuisines together and I have made up the menu. In this series, I'll be cooking some of Italian food and some of American. Today I'll be making herb chicken. It's a very famous dish at my restaurant and it's our chef's special. These are the ingredients I'll be using. This is the chicken breast, boneless, and there is onions, there is garlic, there is oregano and rosemary, there is basil, there is butter, there is some veggies. You can use any veggies you want, but I'll be using baby carrots and baby potatoes. And then there is salt, pepper, olive oil and Dijon mustard. First, you need to make the paste. So you need a blender. I need about 2 onions. I'm going to cut it into 4. And then some garlic, some salt, pepper, 1 tablespoon of Dijon mustard, and about 2 tablespoons of olive oil. And finally you add some basil leaves. As you can see, all the ingredients are inside. Then you paste is done. Once it's done, keep it aside. We need to cut the chicken breast. I'm just going to open it. Then I'm going to add a little salt, oregano, and some rosemary. You can use any herb you like actually, and my favorite is rosemary, so I'm going to use that. Leave it for about 5 minutes, and until that's done we can saute the vegetables. I'm going to get the baby carrots. As I told you before, you can use any veggies you like. And some baby potatoes. Now I'm going to boil the veggies. Add some salt. Let it boil for about 10 minutes. So while the veggies are still boiling, I'm going to take the chicken. I'm going to add the paste. Use your hands and let it get everywhere so that the paste nicely get into the chicken. My veggies are done now, so I'm just going to strain it. Then I'm going to heat a pan. Keep it on medium heat. Add a little bit of olive oil. Now I think the chicken is enough. I'm gonna place it on the pan. It smells so good, guys. As you can see, the paste gives a really nice green, light green color. Keep turning the chicken so that it doesn't get roasted. It gives a really nice aroma, and I think it's the basil, and it smells really good. The whole kitchen smells really good actually. So while the chicken is cooking, I'm gonna cut the veggies. So while the chicken is cooking, I'm gonna pound the garlic. This is for the veggies, guys. Garlic is one of my favorite ingredients, so I use it in almost everything. So it's been about 10 minutes, and I think my chicken is done. As you can see, it's brown in color, and yeah, it's perfectly done, guys. I'm gonna take it out of the pan because I don't want it to get overcooked. It smells so good. So while the pan heat, I'm gonna add some olive oil into it, pounded garlic, and then add the veggies, add some salt and some butter, add some herbs. I'm gonna add some oregano and some rosemary. As you can see, the veggies are not overboiled. The veggies are very colorful. So my dish is almost done. I'll be making a small salad for the garnish, and I'm using rocket leaves. It's a very easy salad actually. I think this is the easiest. And some balsamic vinegar and some olive oil. Mix it well. Place it on top of the chicken. It smells so good and it's gonna be yummy. My dish for today is done. herb chicken with veggies and rocket leaf salad. Hope you guys like it. Let's taste it. It's so good, guys. The chicken is perfectly done and the salad goes really well with the chicken. So my dish for today is done. The herb chicken with veggies, and there is a rocket leaf salad. I hope you guys like it and you enjoyed it. Hope to see you on another episode. This is My Homemade.